Hi, my loves. It's Joy, my lady girl from around the way, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to y'all with some quick commentary about your girl, Kenya Moore Hair Care. Now, before I hop into my commentary, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you enjoy this type of commentary. Now, I want to go ahead and say that I have not watched any of the episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I've only seen some of the snippets that have come up and down the timeline and, according to my quick searches and listening to other people. So that's just a quick disclaimer. But because I am a fan of the show and have watched the show for several years now. I remember watching Real Housewives of Atlanta when you used to have to literally watch it and catch it on TV, girl. Me, my grandma, and my auntie, girl. We used to be right up, locked and loaded, ready to see what was going on with Nene and Kim and the whole thing. So Kenya is a part of, core memories for me, especially since, we're all in this popular culture and, Real Housewives, reality TV space. So when she was ultimately fired, I think we were all sitting back waiting to see what it was actually given, because if you are been around for some time, Miss Kenya, she takes it there. She's going to go ahead and knock on your forehead every single time with the shenan and the gins. So it was aired last weekend. The girl Brit Eady, she was on one. I want to say that the lick was on her. She was on that Taylor's Port, that red wine, because sister was, she was a little turned up. I love when I get too on. Okay, we've all been there before, and I'm not about to try to shame and blame nobody, but let's be clear and call a thing a thing. Now, I don't understand the real dynamic between them. I'm feeling like a lot of people are gathering that Brit just wanted to have a moment with Kenya. Drop down in the comments if that is something that you agree with. I can't say for sure, but that's typically what happens. Even without me knowing, that is how the show is formatted. You get the biggest, baddest one, and you try to, pick them. Nene used to say that all the time, because you need a moment with me. You won't get it with me, okay? So this is, possibly what Brit Eady's motive was. And it was taken the wrong way. And during that event, Brit, became irate. I think she was out of her body, out of her mind, and started saying things like, oh, I got the pew pew and I got whips and I don't play that. Let me watch. She was a little paranoid, watching her back. My back is against the wall. And Kenya kept it very cute, because this isn't her first rodeo, okay? This is not her first rodeo with somebody on the show trying to come at her with being exposed to extreme violence and threats and everything like this. And Brit was really just, oh, where my husband at? Where my pocketbook? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the husband was kind of trying to get her on bag. It seemed like the girls were trying to hush her up. Kenya just had her little pee. She didn't say much because she knows how to stay quiet and maybe de-escalate a situation, because Brit Eady was on one. Y'all can say whatever. She was on one. If you ever been into a brolic situation, when because it's out of their mind, it's time to get brolic. And she was definitely given that. Now, apparently, according to Andy, on some weird little podcast he was on, or maybe it was his own podcast, girl said that Brit had wanted to apologize and showed up to the, Kenya's event with flowers. Kenya at that point had made up in her mind, like, I don't care about your apology, because she had this big cockamamie plan. And no pun intended. So Kenya Moore shows up and she's doing the whole extravaganza and, Kenya Moore hair spa. And she's having this really big moment like she did at Marlo's launch and came out with the Kenya Moore hair care. Very beautiful, doing her whole thing. And she was saying that she was making this about Brooklyn and this is her legacy and blah, blah, blah. But in the process, she had to go ahead and get Brit together. And in the process of her getting Brit together, she had to make it very clear, crystal clear, that she had no clue who Brit was. And in fact, she had to go and do some research through a private investigator and found some explicit photos of her, participating in a cucumber challenge, right? So now it's unclear where these actual images are from. She gets it posted on like a poster board, and all of the girls are really kind of flabbergasted. Brit Eady walks out and says, I'm not going to deal with this. This is too much. Now, Brit, I would have liked it a little bit more if you would have just took it head up, because girl, that was you. And if, it hasn't been confirmed, but I need somebody to do some further research, because everybody is saying that this is revenge revenge porn. But the whole thing is like, was this images that was never released, and she got, the ex-boyfriend's old cell phone and found the girl in compromising situations? Or was this something that she was doing on the internet? Like, did Brit Eady ever have an OnlyFans? Like, where did she get these images from? Did she hack into iCloud? How did Kenya obtain these images? Now, I know that she was saying that she was doing, she hired a private investigator. I'm sorry, I'm trying to listen to what they doing also. Pop my little ish. But the private investigator, again, is this something that was for the internet to find out? Did she publish it on her own? Or did she, just stumble it across, like I said, in an ex-lover's cell phone? Where is it? What is it really giving? Yes, baby. Now, some of the girls are saying that Kenya, took it too far. She has a history of doing this. She had Cynthia going to Watch What Happens Live and kind of give her 2 cents. Like, I'm just so sad to see Kenya make this moment about her. And, she worked really hard for her spa, and her hair care launch was beautiful, and this, that, and the other. But, I think that, 2 things can be true at once. I say that all the time. The show has historically not protected Kenya. The castmates have historically not protected Kenya. Does she poke the bear? Absolutely. Is she antagonizing? For sure. But I will never forget seeing her be, a target to, what was that lady's name? Not Tanya. Monique, I can't remember. It was the lady she had. This is when they were somewhere in Miami. Portia had invited some men back to the house. And this is the season that Kim Fields was on the show. And, the guy became super drunk, super aggressive, belligerent. It was in throwing up gang signs, and Candy was pregnant, and, everything like this. And sure, Kenya was trying to escort him out, but it turns out so at the reunion, the ladies were like, no, I think that Kenya was being antagonistic. Nobody felt threatened, blah, 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 blah. And then a couple of months later, that same guy was arrested for some gang-related violence and this, that, and the other. So when I say that Kenya has a history of being targeted, not being protected, I'm referring to something like this. Now, she not even knowing Brit, she don't know what could happen. You get what I'm saying? And this is, I'm going to bring this back to Zeus Network and Baddies. We have a hard time differentiating. I'm doing this for the camera, and I'm doing this in real life, because everybody wants to give reality TV. Girl, don't get mad at me. I'm just trolling. DTB, get tooth knocked out. Girl, don't this, that, and the third. I'm just trying to promote the show on Instagram, wilding out, airing out everybody's business. And so if Kenya really felt threatened, people are saying, well, why didn't they call the police and this, that, and the third? I mean, because you're not playing in the real world. You're still playing in TV world with real life ramifications. Now, did Kenya fly a little close to the sun with this? Perhaps. But we don't know Brittney at all. Okay? We don't know her at all. And it's just very interesting how they immediately just suspended her. I mean, if that's the case, they both should have been suspended. There was a few people that came out on Married to Medicine that said, I can't even play with a water gun with my son. So to say that I have, a weapon, and let's be clear, no, I'm from the East Coast, and a lot of people, whatever, down there, because it's carrying. They on them. It's different, baby. It's a different, it's not just no empty threat. Oh, I got to go to the trunk and this, that, and the third. Nah, baby, it be on them. You feel what I'm saying? So I just don't like, from the sense of the fans, from the standpoint of the fans of the show, that we're not able to see Kenya play out. And I really think that the rest of the season is going to go on. Phaedra's not going to give too much because Candy isn't there. And the rest of the season is going to be haunted by the fact of, I wonder how things would be if Kenya was there. Honestly. And, maybe next season the buzz will go away, and then this, that, and the third, because the show has a good time. They do a good job at really doing that production, I mean. But right now it's given we're talking more about the Kenya and Brit thing than we are the actual show. Honestly, and how we feel about it. And I guess that's what good TV is supposed to do. But I am a little sad to not be able to see Kenya and her wittiness, her beauty, her charm. and her ability to read a hoe down and to get under that skin. I mean, we're the audience is not invested in Brit. Not yet, anyway. We're invested in Kenya. Bravo. I just feel like, it wasn't a good call. I think that they're getting shaken and stirred up because they're getting lawsuits from different, Real Housewives, but you decide to go above and beyond for this newbie. I mean, give us a fucking break. I want to know what you think about it, guys. Drop down in the comments. I mean, am I missing the mark on this? Is it something I'm not putting together? I just feel like if I say something that's crazy as hell, I publish it online, whether it's TikTok or YouTube, and I go into work and they say, Jeray, is this you? I mean, how upset can I be? You know what I'm saying? If I said something disparaging or whatever. So, it's a risk when you put things out into the internet ethers. She know what she did. She could have just stood there and sat there and ate it and took it. And now if she would have stood there and was like, you know what? Yeah, that was me. And what's up? That was my past. And this is who I am. It is what it is, girl. We all got a pass. It's just, some of us got a pass with a digital footprint and some of us was able to get away without having that. It is what it is. I want to know what you think. Drop it down in the comments, sister. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.